Hey there, this is Stan, K9SWX, and today we're going to be reviewing the C.Crane Skywave SSB portable AM/FM shortwave weather airband radio. So as you can see, the front of the radio has a bunch of different buttons on it, which you can control all the various settings. Your tuning knob is over here on the right side, and there's also the volume control, which you go up or down. On the left side, there's a headphone jack, and this is where you would power the radio with a mini USB cable, which you could plug into your computer if you wanted, or they also have an optional AC adapter you could get to power the radio. On the back side, we've got this little flip stand. This makes it really easy to sit it on a desk. This side of it, it tells you the different frequencies it picks up. And underneath, it'll show you the bandwidth settings that we'll get into in a little bit later. There's the battery door. It just takes 2 AA batteries. And then on top, you've got your normal telescoping antenna. Now, before we get into the radio, I just want to show you what the radio comes with, what comes in the box. You get this nice little soft case. It's got C.Crane on the front. See if I can get some more light on that. There we go. So there's that. I'll show you a different case I use instead in a bit. Here's some earbuds that also branded as C.Crane. They look pretty nice. I've got my own. I prefer bigger headphones, so I don't use these, but it's nice that they include them. And then finally, there's this neat little clip-on shortwave antenna, so you could clip it on something wherever you're at, something, if you're indoors, clip it onto something up high or something, and then with this end, and then this end comes out, and it just unwinds as you pull it out. I think it's about 15 or 20 feet, but then you just clip on this end to the the antenna on the radio itself, and it'll give you a little bit better reception than what's on that you would get from the telescopic antenna. And I'll show you how that works in a little bit. So we'll start with the FM and AM bands here. I'm going to turn this thing on by just hitting that button there. Now I got to be careful not to get any copyright strikes here, so I'll just kind of thumb through the frequencies real quick here. I've got some programmed in here. It holds like 400 frequencies or something, because it's got 10 per page, and you can have a bunch of pages. So,
Radio. Wake up and get up with Key, Jay, and Max. I think Tampa's just got to figure out.
They are the best.
Listen on your radio, online at mix945.com, or
as you can see, it's got as I change frequencies, it'll tell me the page and the channel, and then up here is the signal strength. So that's FM. I mean, you can also thumb through it this way as well. I don't know if I got anyone here.
And they are rendered with Gamaka, a minor popular rag.
And I'm just indoors here, so it does a pretty good job picking up the local FM stations. So now we're going to switch over to AM. I'm going to put this antenna down because it doesn't use that for AM. It has an internal, what I'm guessing is a ferrite little antenna built in here. So let's see what we got here. Now you hear how it's staticky right now. If I turn it just a little bit, it clears right up. So it's very sensitive in that way, which is great when you're trying to pick up distant stations or separate two different stations. You can just rotate it like this. Let's see if I've got anything in there. I've got a lot of stuff that only comes in at night, like, oh, what is it? The one from Nashville. And there's some Chicago ones. See as I turn it, you can kind of pick it up. That's that's the score. WSCR in Chicago sports station. But I'm indoors and next to computers and all that, so this would work a lot better if I was next to the window or outside. All right, now we're going to try some shortwave here. And as you can see, I don't have the antenna up, but as I touch the antenna, it gets a little louder. But I've got the real antenna across the ceiling here, so I'm going to flip this on. Let's see what we get here. Now, earlier I had some ham radio frequencies going. I don't know if this person is left or not, but right now it's an AM mode, so you won't really want to switch to USB mode. So first you got to hit SSB, and it takes a few seconds to engage that mode. Yeah, I don't hear him now, but this switches between USB and upper sideband and lower sideband, and you want upper sideband on. We're on 15 meters right now. You can kind of hear somebody in there, so. Now what you can do, yeah, right now there's a contest going on the bands. I think it's the CQ Worldwide SSB contest, which is great for the testing purposes because everybody and anybody's on there. So what you can do, and you hear all that noise, you can change the bandwidth to maybe 3, and you might be able to pull the guy out a little bit better. Now we've got it down to 2.2 kilohertz. And that really kind of brings them out. Let's see if we can find somebody else here. What I did there is I pushed in on this button to change it from fast to slow. I heard somebody in there. Now, when you get one that's in between frequencies here, you can hit fine tune, and I believe you use the, oh, nope, that wasn't it. You use the knob. Turn it one way or the other here. There you go. I don't know if you can. That one sounds really good. He's probably running a lot of power for me to be able to pick him up indoors on this little shortwave antenna. Sounds like there's some other frequencies, other people real close to him. Let's see if we can find some Morse code here, some CW. Just curious. I want to show the filtering on here. Oops, sounds like some RIDI on there. I was trying to get away from that noise, but let's go back to 15 and see what we get here. I have to change. Switching away from sideband, going to some real shortwave. I've got Radio Marti here on 11930. I mean, according to my research, they're running about 250,000 watts, so that's probably why I'm picking it up pretty much full scale inside here. But you can do the same thing with the bandwidth on AM as you can. AM has a little wider. You can go 6 kilohertz, 4, 3, 2, 1 is the last one. So you can still hear it. It's just a little, muffled, but it does cut out some of the noise. So that's a pretty cool feature of this radio, is you can kind of filter out some of that noise and still hear the station. So one of the other nice features of this radio is it picks up the NOAA weather radio frequencies here in the U.S. And I've got our local one on here, which is full scale.
The humidity was 90%. The wind was southeast at 14 miles an hour.
Sounds pretty good.
Was 29.95 inches and steady.
And one other thing you can do is it has an alert feature. So if you hold this down, you'll see it's turned on and you'll see this flashing alert. And then when you shut the radio off, it pops on here, alert. So it'll monitor for any, when there's severe weather or something important, they'll send out a special tone and it'll activate this radio and regular weather radios and alert you of whatever the threat is. The only problem with this is it will run your batteries down a lot quicker because it's basically checking every few seconds. You can see the light come on, it blinks. So you need to keep aware of that. So this radio also will let you listen to VHF Air band from somewhere between 118 to 136 or so megahertz. I've not had much luck picking up anything indoors with the built-in telescopic antenna. I do have a few frequencies programmed in for our local airport, but I usually just use a scanner to pick up these frequencies. But it's nice to have that functionality built in to this radio if you're camping or hiking or just that's the only radio you have. So it's pretty nice. Now, as I showed you earlier, the radio does come with like a little soft case, which is pretty cool. But I prefer something a little bit more durable. So I picked up this hard shell case from Amazon. It's from a company called Hermit Shell. And it's just big enough where you can put if you like these earbuds, you can put the earbuds up here. And you can put the radio in here. And it zips right up. And that just gives it a little bit more durability because I like to throw it in a backpack and take it with me. And and I think it'll protect it pretty well. Just make sure you have the radio in lock mode, otherwise the power cord or the power button will probably get hit while it's traveling or bouncing around or something, and then you'll drain your battery. So just make sure it's in lock mode. This is about $12.99 on Amazon, and I'll put the link in the description below if you're interested in picking that up. If you go through that link, it is an affiliate link. I do get a small commission on anything you buy through that link, so it will help support the channel. So if you want to help me out, you can purchase that, and it's a pretty inexpensive way to protect your protect the radio. Now that we've seen how the radio works, what are the good and the bad about it? Well, the first thing is just how portable it is. It's very lightweight. It's small. I mean, you can take it anywhere, and it's not going to take up much space. So to me, that's the main key feature of the radio. Next is just how many bands that it will receive. I mean, you've got AM, FM, the weather band, air band, and of course, shortwave. Next up is the different bandwidths you get when you're in sideband or AM. On AM, you can go all the way up to 6 kilohertz and then all the way down to 1. And then in sideband, you start at 4 and can go all the way to 0.5 kilohertz. So it's really cool how you can use the different features to filter and kind of cut down on some of the noise. Another good feature is it doesn't pull much current. The 2 AA batteries last quite a long time. I believe the manual states that it's like 65 hours or something, but I mean, I rarely charge this thing up, so it's just, I can listen for hours, and it just doesn't seem to die very often. And the great thing about this is you do get a case. It's a soft case, and then you get a nice pair of earbuds and that nice antenna that you can clip on, and run it, outside or wherever even in a room to get better reception on the HF shortwave bands. And as alluded to earlier, it runs on 2 AA batteries. So you run out of batteries, you can go anywhere and get more batteries. And the charging port is actually a mini USB jack, so you can get a cable and plug it into your computer and charge it or power it that way. So now that we've seen the likes with this radio, what don't I like about the radio? Well, the first thing is when you're tuning around, the audio mutes every time you turn the knob or hit the up and down arrows. And that's kind of common on some of the other shortwave radios out there, but I have seen some that don't do that. But it would have been nice to have, where it doesn't mute every time you turn the knob. And then the next big one is price. I mean, it retails for $170. Right now, I believe at the time of this recording, you can get it as low as $150, but it's kind of pricey. You're kind of getting into the realm of, should I get an SDR, a software-defined radio for my computer, which would give you even more capabilities than this radio. So, you kind of got to weigh the pros and cons of, is it worth it? But I think it is. Next up is on the FM broadcast band, there's no RDS, and that's like if you're in your car, it'll tell you the band that's playing the song, what genre of music it is, and so on, and the call letters, of course. This radio doesn't have that. The screen really isn't big enough to support that anyway, but I would like to see a future version of this have that. I think that would be really useful for those that use it to do FM DXing. Next up is you don't get the AC adapter or the batteries with this. They're both extra. It's not a big deal to me because I have a handful of, I just use rechargeable AA batteries and I charge them in its own separate, charger. So it doesn't really bother me, and they last so long. So it's not a huge deal. Another thing is the speaker is kind of small, but really most of the time I've got a pair of headphones plugged in. So that's really not a huge deal breaker to me, but I've heard some other folks online in different forums and such say that the speaker isn't as robust as some of the other shortwave radios out there. And finally, I think the lack of antenna jack. As you saw, that real antenna that comes with it, it just clips onto the telescoping antenna. But it would be nice to see an actual antenna jack that like other shortwave radios have. So if you're interested in buying one of these radios, there's a few places you can go. The first one would be go direct through C.Crane, and they're selling it for $169.99 as of October 2022. You can also go to Ham Radio Outlet, and they have it on sale for $149.99. So that might be a good option. Or if you like the good old Amazon, you can get it for $169.99. And if you click the link in the description below to Amazon, it is an affiliate link. So if you do purchase through them, I will get a little bit of a kickback, which helps support this channel. So there's a few options for you if you're interested in buying the radio. As I was getting ready to put the finishing touches on this video, I noticed that C.Crane has announced the Skywave SSB 2. So I went to their website, and it lists, let me blow this up here, down here, what has changed. They've added an antenna jack for shortwave reception. So that's great. They've changed the mini USB connector to a micro USB connector with improved in-circuit battery charging for AA rechargeable batteries. They've also included a higher quality speaker with more audio amplification, and it looks like they've added longer feet on the bottom of the radio. So it appears like it's very similar to the one I just reviewed, but you can see they've added this antenna jack. So it'll be interesting to see how this performs compared to the existing SSB unit. It looks like it's going to be the same price, $169.99, and be available sometime after December 9th of 2022. So we'll have to keep an eye on that and see how that plays out. Maybe I can get a hold of one and test it out. But I wanted to make you aware that if you're getting ready to spend $170, maybe you want to hold off and see what this new one is like. Or if you need it right now, then go ahead and order and be happy with the existing model. So what did you think of this C.Crane Skywave SSB radio? Is it something you'd be interested in checking out, purchasing? Do you have any questions about it? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see if I can help you out. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and make sure to ding my bell to be notified when I post new videos. Thanks again, and 73 from K9SWX.